The Autobots will be vanquished forever! No! Such heroic nonsense.
Put this shit in it. You can't put her finger in the trigger. It won't do right. That's bullshit.
So we're gonna have Prime and Perceptor stick around. Perceptor's got a really stupid face. Got a stupid face. Dr. Wu, please make a head for this guy. All right, so let's get to the transformation of this guy because it's rather fun and the ingenuity is it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm sorry, Ben. So let's get to it. And right off the bat, let me say this. It does not transform like a typical TFC toy. It does not. They've got some new designers, and those designers are on point. Let me point out these things right here. If I did not point them out already, they kind of just stand up a little bit, but for no specific reason other than to cover those little hinges there, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, this is going to break off at some point. I've already accepted it. I might just break it off myself. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, I love those ratchets, is make sure the fists are closed. With the fist closed, if you look in here, you can see where there's a little slot. Flip that up. Turn the fist this way, and it'll go in much cleaner. All right. And there you see that peg. That peg, again, can be used for that weapon, and it's also used to secure the transformation. All right. Let me point out, on this hand, you don't necessarily have to turn the fist that way. As a matter of fact, I think it would cause a problem if you did. You can actually leave it this way because it's a little more slender than that other hand. Only because of the articulated fingers on this hand do you want to make sure you turn it that way. Now, with the hands put away, you're going to rotate the arm this way, and then you're going to bring it up and collapse it. Or compress it rather. Yet again, be mindful of that windshield because you got to put some force on this to get it to collapse. The directions don't specifically point this out as one of the earlier steps in transforming the arm, but I am going to point it out. Go ahead and fold this. This is on a double hinge, this flap. Go ahead and fold it up and make it straight so that way it can go ahead and slide because it's really a big headache trying to get it folded in later. So then you're going to just push, once you have this down, go ahead and just don't push it all the way in, but apply a little pressure. And it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Apply a little pressure there, joining the windows here. And again, since you had already folded this out, it kind of fits in nice and snug. And you just kind of bring it down. And that's the first portion of the transformation. Repeat the same on the other side. Okay, from here, for me, I go down to the legs. The legs, the engineering on the legs is really freaking cool. Check this out. Let's hope I don't eat this up too much. You see this hinge here, little tab there, stick your fingernail under there, and just pop that open, right? Come back here and pop that open there. And if you fold this down and pop that out, and you'll see a little flap there. Once you set all of that up, check this out. This is really dope. I'm going to open this up so you can see it. All right. You see that? You see that? You're gonna flip that open like that. You see this is on the hinge here, right? You rotate it from here to there, okay? Now, before you collapse anything up, close anything, or whatever the case is, take note of this area here, if you can see it. It's kind of like a little, see a little indenture in the design there. Take this tire and go ahead and flip this whole panel out. And it's a rubber tire, so it feels like it's really tough, like it's a really tight clearance, and it kind of is, but because this is rubber, you don't have to worry about it putting too much wear there, and it comes around nicely, and it's really snug. All right, cool. So now once you do that, you can go ahead and bring this in. All right, close that back up on that side, and you got to really got to straighten the leg out for this to work completely. All right, you bring that in. There's a peg here, there's a slot there. That pegs in there like that. Bring this up like that. Now this is, do it in this series, right? I'm sorry, in this sequence. Okay, so check this out. Take this foot, twist it up, and fit it right inside of there. And then set this here. Take this portion, bring it down, and close that. Don't close it all the way because it's not going to close all the way. None of this stuff is going to fit until you do this. You bring, hold on. I'm sorry, don't close it yet. Bring this down, close that portion. When you close this, I don't know why, but magically everything fits in place. Before you close that, if you don't close that, nothing closes up securely. It doesn't work right. But when you bring that down, it all seems to come together. Then that closes. This right here will not close with this without this being down. It will not close the correct way. It all fits together nice and smooth. This you'll leave down for now. And then you repeat that on the other side. Okay, with both legs transformed, you have some pretty strong pegs here and peg holes there. You're going to just fit that together. When you fit that together, you can see here on the bumper, this portion slides into that slot there. Like that, and then you would just bring this up. Now, while it's down, it doesn't seem to fit exactly, right? But once you bring it up and it goes into place, it's pretty good to go. So it's pretty good to go. It's pretty snug. A little bit of gappage, but not too much. And once you bring everything together, you can really see how it all just works. All right. So that's that portion. Okay. Go ahead and bring this out. Flip that out now because you have perfect clearance. Okay. You'll also see snug up inside of there, if you can in fact see it, are these little windows. You don't really have to worry about folding them out now. You can or you don't have to. It doesn't really matter because you'll have clearance to get it later. All right, the head hides it down inside of there like that. He's a turtle. He's a Ninja Turtle. There you go. And that's that portion. Now, bring that up and just set it there for right now. Okay, take these, rotate them around so that these portions are facing towards you and these pegs can be brought together. You'll see a lot of peg holes. You'll see some peg holes there. You see some pegs there. All of this stuff collapses, fits together. It's awesome. But here's another trick of it. And this part reminds me of Optimus Prime, the MP10. I don't know why. It just reminds me. Okay, take this part, hold it like right here. Twist it like this. This is what I find to be the easiest thing. Bring it back like this. And then now you can take this portion and you can bring it down. Same deal on this side, right? Once you bring these down, you can bring that back up is what I do. And then you twist it around like this. This portion feels kind of funny because there is a little bit of friction there, but don't worry about it. Spin it around. Now I'm actually going to show you the other side because of this little crotch piece right here that kind of gets in the way just a little bit. Spin it around, bow, and it's in place, okay? Once you do that, you can bring it back up and just set it in place like that, all right? Now, take this with it facing sideways like that because it's so much easier. This whole area here, see it's on a some kind of a mechanism there to rotate back. Just gonna bring it all back like so. And once you bring it back like that, then you can twist this into place. It's just much easier than what the directions explain. Okay, this is another cool part. Here are a lot of cool parts of this transformation. Okay, typically I would, while I have these down, I've left this part out. So now I got to fight with it. Typically, while I have these down, I would take this port here and free that. They're on a double hinge deal on both sides, and just rotate it around, rotate it out. And you can kind of leave it dangling. It doesn't really matter right now, but you see where it's kind of going, right? Cool. All right, now we go back to bringing this in, bringing this down. And here you can see where you have some little puzzle piece peg type deals with slot holes on the inside. Just kind of got to make that. It's a little bit of clearance, but you can get to it. There you go. There you go. All right, and once you have it, you can just kind of secure that. All right. Now back to the original plot. Twist that guy like that. All righty, we're almost there. I wouldn't squeeze these together just yet because it's just easier not to. All right. Take these guys and bring them forward. Keep the hinge like that. It just works a lot easier for me, I think. When you, and that's how I actually rub that bit of ink off, a bit of paint off. But do it like that and then compress it in from there. And it just works a lot better. This little piece just popped off. I want to show you that. It popped off earlier while I was transforming it too. The other one has not done that, so maybe that's just a little bit loose. So that's maybe what 3 or 4 flaws we found so far with this figure. All flaws that I can actually live with, other than that god daggone ankle rocker. All right, so that fits in there perfectly. All right, now take these guys here, slide that rail back. See if I can get you in there. Slide that rail back and then just bring these around, okay? Now from here, you kind of got to fit it all in. Those pegs are going to go into that hole there. Just got to make it work. All right, and then of course, these pegs here fit into those holes there, right? And if it helps at all, try to fit one side in. It's not really hard because you got to push this down. It's not really hard. Oh, crap. Okay, now that we're ready to bring the arms around, let's go ahead and flip these guys out. Make sure that head is down in there, okay? Now, take these portions here and slide them back on those rails like that. You can go ahead and set that in place and bring those arms on around like that. All right. Now we just kind of got to tab everything together. These little tabs here fit into those slots there. I think of the whole transformation, this is probably the most irritating portion of it, only because you got to make everything fit together. And once it all fits together, it's just nice and tight and snug and everything is working. There you go. Oh, let me point this out to you too while I have a chance. That gapping there is perfectly made for this portion here. It's like they really gave consideration to this thing, man, when it was going through the engineering. Other than that, daggone ankle rocker, but other than that, they gave some pretty in-depth consideration to most of the transformation, and I really like it. So that's in place. Bring this down. Sorry, I had to cheat. It's hard as hell to do this in front of the camera. I had to put it on my lap. It seems to work better. Putting it in your lap and then pressing everything down, it just works so much better. Okay, so all that stuff is in place. These pegs back here are kind of a bezo to get in place, and they're scary because they make you think that once they're in, they're not going to come out, but it is not the case. So you kind of got to just work them into place. And this is when you can actually squeeze those together and you just pop them on. It feels like as if they're not going on. It feels as if you're pushing in the wrong place. It's not. It's just the way that it's arched so that it can pop on, but then when you get ready to take it off, it pops right out. So you squeeze it together and it pops right out. So it's not really a big problem. It just feels like it. And there you go. Everything is in its place and everything has its place. So that's pretty cool. Make sure everything is good. Yep. So there we go. So that's his van mode. And it's not a bad van mode. I dig the van mode. I just don't like those mirrors. Everything cleans up really well. You can see the lining from the paneling, but come on, dog. Let's not be stupid. Let's not trip. All right. He's on rubber wheels, real rubber wheels, like a real MP would have. There's no hidden bot under there other than the cod piece. Everything's kind of hidden and tucked away nicely. Rolls with no problem. I got rolls on all four. So that's pretty cool. I'm sorry I didn't get that peg out right. I'm not going to deal with that right now. I'm not going to deal with that. Make sure when you transfer yours, you do a better job. So let's compare his alt mode right quick. Okay, fellow collectors. You don't know this, but I know it. I just sat here for like 30 minutes transforming that shit back to truck mode, okay? I transformed this guy in front of the camera for the most part in less than 10 minutes. Maybe, I don't know. I really don't know. And if I wasn't recording, it would probably been faster than that. This thing took me like 30 minutes, dog, straight up. I mean, and that's not including the breaks. You know what I'm saying? Like taking my time and taking breaks because it was just that irritating. I would like to do a nice breakdown of the line work on this figure and, you know, the vehicle mode and the nice chrome wheels here and all of that stuff. But I feel that it's more important that I draw a contrast. So it's comparison time, my friends. We have 3 iron hides coming, okay? Basically, 3 iron hides coming. We have the MP, which I know a lot of you were like, the MP is it? And it may very well be it. As far as I know right now, the MP is just not it, okay? And then we have these 2. I can't include the MP right now because that would not be fair. But between these 2, if you were looking to choose between these 2, I'm going to urge you to go with the TFC. I said it. Brave said, get TFC. I know. I've said to many people in the groups who message me about TFC quality, screw TFC. But in this case, I'm going to tell you, get the TFC. This figure, its alt mode, its transformation, its bot mode is very fun. It's not without its flaws. There are things that need to be developed, but it's a lot of fun. It reminds me kind of overclocking as far as the fun that I had transforming it. It's not a problem going back and forth. I don't feel like the plastic is going to snap. It's got some weight. It's a very weighted figure. It's heavier than, let's say, this is my Warbatron Slash Strike. He is, as far as his weight goes, he's somewhere in between these 2. This guy is the heaviest. This guy, as far as I can tell, has no die cast on him, but he is a solid, chunky figure. You can knock a hole out with this, right? Rubber wheels, good paint job. They didn't spare the details on this. They just made a few mistakes. This guy feels so fragile, so fragile. The plastic is just, I was terrified while transforming him back. And it's really a shame because going back to the prototype when I was at BotCon and I was listening to this, I've said this before, I felt really confident about this figure, but I just, oh my gosh, this guy is a real letdown for me. He's not a $100 figure. He's not. I'm sorry. There are things that could be done to make it a $100 figure, but those steps were left out. And then look at it. Even now, going back to the truck alt mode, there's so many things that they don't fit back together well. And the time it takes to get it back together makes you not want to transform it. If you saw my review on it, you will see that I stopped. I didn't even bother to go into the alt mode on it. So that's that. I was going to buy the other 2, the ratchet and the actual Ironhide of this. I think I'm going to pass. I think I'm going to buy the ratchet of this one and just go with that because I like this. I genuinely like it. And I try my best not to lie to you guys and tell you no bull crap. I like this figure. I'm scared about these popping. I'm not happy with the lack of ankle rockers. I've said that multiple times now just to drive it home, but I like this figure. I like the strides TFC has made to get to this point, and I'm excited about where they're going from here. Voodoo Toys, I know this review isn't about you, but this review is kind of about you. I hope. First of all, I wonder, is Voodoo Toys KFC? I'm starting to wonder that now. I hope that you guys heard me on the first one. I know you feel like I'm kicking shit all over you, and maybe I am, but it's not to be mean. It's not to be hateful. I'm being honest. I had high hopes for you guys. I hope that you go back to the drawing board before that Ironhide and Ratchet comes out. But in order to do that, you would have to give it a total different plastic. This plastic is so fragile. I don't think they're going to do that. So if they survive this release and they get to move forward with a new figure, please think about the mistakes you made on this one, the oversights you made on this one, and don't let those oversights drive you out of business, because this is going to take you out of the game. Get you some TFC. Deuces.